there is a pinnacle moment when your avoidant ex realizes that they've lost you. And it usually comes once you've chosen your independence, once you've chosen yourself. You're no longer chasing the avoidant, you're no longer worried about how they feel, what they're doing, if they're seeing someone. That's when the avoidant realizes they've lost you. What an avoidant doesn't realize is when they're leaving, when they're desensitizing themselves and distancing themselves emotionally before breaking up with you, after breaking up with you, it's just a manipulative tactic that leaving this relationship was the right option, that leaving was what was meant to happen. But then quickly realize, once that phase of delayed reaction subsides, that what was real between you still remains. They were simply running from themselves and they couldn't sit within the vulnerability that comes with emotional closeness. What's that saying? You don't realize what you have until it's gone. It literally applies to this. Your avoidant didn't realize your value and what they had with you until you were no longer there. And it's not because they expected you to stay around because they thought leaving would make you chase them. It's because running gave them the clarity they needed. But it's the paradox of what they actually thought was real. It's almost like a war inside them internally, because they're wired for believing that emotional closeness and intimacy is unsafe due to early experiences that made them build up coping mechanisms around emotional vulnerability. Because in their early years, there was obviously some form of emotional neglect from the very people that they trusted most. So they're fully capable of love, they want love more than anything, but they're simply unable to sit in it without healing their avoidant attachment. So what do? They always give into it, they run from the feelings because they feel like that's the only way out. But the truth is, logistics will always override heightened emotions. Once those heightened emotions subside and baseline again, everything that is real will always remain. Now, depending on the character of the person you were with, your avoidant, whether they were confident and extroverted, or whether they were more fearful and a bit more shy, depends entirely on whether they will come back. A more confident and extroverted person will fear rejection far less than someone that is more fearful naturally. And for an avoidant to come back, an essential part of making that decision is not fearing rejection, or having far less emphasis on that feeling. Avoidants will always reach out briefly through methods of breadcrumbing or reaching out to mutual friends and family members to pass on information, whether they're confident or whether they're not. But for a more fearful and shy person, it's far more scary to them to reach out and be vulnerable and put their emotions on the line again in the possibility that it could be rejected and thrown away. So even if they miss you, even if they still love you and really want this relationship, they may not even reach out because they are scared of being rejected. And the truth is, the only way that they will reach out is if they feel safe doing so. If you open up the doorway of not blocking them, of keeping that access to them, but still living your life, still doing the things you need to do for yourself, then ironically they may reach out. So whether you're wondering whether they still care, whether they're going to come back or not because you want a relationship again, they will miss you at some point, they will realize what they've lost. Or whether you simply moved on and you're independent and you don't really feel the need for a relationship anymore, but you're just curious about how they're feeling or what they're thinking after this phase ends, then this is likely what's going to happen. I really do hope this was helpful to you in some way, or at least provided some clarity or information on something you wanted to know. I have many more videos on avoidant attachment and situations within avoidance on my channel, so if you're interested, they are there. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask them in the comments. I will try to answer every single one of you. Just always prioritize yourself. Never put yourself second.